Hello, everybody. My name is Melissa. I'm the owner of Melissa Forzia Events and Marketing, and today I wanted to share another marketing tip of the week with you. This one is called How to Message When a Business Changes Hands. Now, I'm going to get into the content in just a moment, but I did want to share a little bit of information why I chose to talk about this. There was something really interesting that happened where probably 4 or 5 different people in a 2-week span asked me about this question. I was doing different speaking engagements, and then I had a couple of people call me out of the blue, and this was just a theme that was happening. It wasn't really for any particular reason that it was all converging into this moment, but it really made me think that this might be a question a lot of people have and they're just not asking about. How do you message when a business changes hands? There's so many complicated factors of the logistics and the legalities of how that business changes hands, but part of it is sort of the PR story. It's how you keep the customers with you and how you keep them loyal to the business. So if you're interested to read this topic in great detail, you're welcome to go back to the blog on my website. I have a link in the description, but I'm also going to read it here, so stick with me. How to message when a business changes hands. 4 different people recently asked me for advice on how to message when a business has changed ownership. 4 people in a couple of weeks. And I had never been asked that question before. The contexts were different, but the root was the same. How do you keep a loyal audience when your business changes? The coincidence of this question piling up really isn't something that I could ignore. So let's talk about how to message when a business changes hands in case this is relevant to you. I'll start by saying that I have no idea why this question never came up before. Businesses change owners a lot, I am sure of it, right? Partners split, young family members maybe inherit a business from retiring family members. There's so many reasons why a business could change hands. It's not uncommon, but perhaps people are just hustling so hard to keep their heads above water that they don't think to ask about how to do this smoothly from a public perception standpoint. Now, one thing I noticed is that each situation that was described to me was totally different in nature. One person inherited a business from someone who was too sick to carry on. A couple were taking on businesses from an older generation in their families. One may be splitting from a partner in a town where that won't go unnoticed. What all of these situations have in common is the need to message the changes appropriately to the client base. What's different about these situations is the nature of that messaging and how delicately it needs to be handled. And so comes my major caveat. Getting a legal handle on your situation takes priority over any PR or marketing messaging. Be sure that you know the rules of your ownership, the rules of the transition, and as much as you can, the rules of how amicable the change of ownership is going to be. These things do matter. The best marketing advice I can give you may be the opposite of the legal advice you should follow for your specific situation. So be safe and prioritize the legal advice first. I say this because when it comes to bracing for change, the ideal scenario is to get in front of it with your audience and be clear about your message and your spin. You may be fortunate that the change is a much needed one that is desired by your community, and then you're inheriting a positive PR story. Or you may be dealing with a change that isn't volatile, and then you can accept that some people will resist it, but that you can spin it to be ultimately a good thing. But then there's crisis communications. If you are in a volatile changeover, it should be handled with the sensitivity that you would any crisis. And if that's something that you want to know more about, message me so that I can share some other resources for you. The key is to message the change and not hide from it. Hiding from it hurts you in the long run. The story will circulate, but it won't be your story. It'll be what everyone else decided your story was. In a best case scenario, you will have plenty of time for advanced messaging and a lot of support from the person who is stepping away from the business. Imagine how softly a transition can happen if the person letting go is clearly and vocally giving their blessing to you, telling their customers what to expect, how awesome you are, letting their customers know a year ahead of time and introducing you so the customers can get to know you. As the person taking over, this process would empower and validate you. It would give the clients time to mourn the loss, to adjust to you in the upcoming transition, and to start seeing all the good you bring to the table. But if you don't have that validation, you have to find ways to make it for yourself. And this may come from having private conversations with your top customers and influencers as far in advance as possible, letting them know how special they are to you and that you want to have this conversation with them and that you value their business and their support. You might use this as a time to establish new relationships with potential partner businesses to create allies through your change. You might get a local journal, blogger, or news source to do a positive feature on you. You might do a charitable event or run a campaign that clearly benefits the community to build goodwill. Whatever you do, get outside validation for the changes you're making. In the trickiest scenario, you may find that the change in ownership is not amicable. There may be hard feelings or even a question of whether sabotage is possible. This is where you're really going to want to have an awareness of your legal situation before you start doing any messaging. Figure out exactly what your limits are and what will inflame the situation. Create positive allies that can help you in showing the good you will provide in your business. Be generous to your clients. Craft exactly the right press release, social media posts, or other messaging that will handle your situation respectfully and within the rules of engagement, but keeping the focus on how you will continue to serve your customers seamlessly. Your customers, your collaborators, and anyone who has a relationship with what your business used to be just want to know that the thing that they believe in is going to stay the same, and if not, how it will change. Be carefully honest with them. If you're making changes, be clear with them about what is changing and why you believe that change is for the better, and what is staying the same as well. If you're holding to the values and the traditions of the old ownership, let them know that you're carrying on what the customer base holds so dear. Whatever you do, get as far in front of the change as you can. Now, I recently did a talk for business owners in a town that's preparing for a road construction project. And obviously, this is a scary time for businesses on that road. We talked about how to succeed in business through that project. And there's one business owner I met there who I know is going to succeed. Months ahead of the project, he created maps for his customers with the new route, the suggested parking, and the map pointed to the back door of his building instead of the front door as the entryway. Apparently, he now has people entering his restaurant months before the project has started, shouting to him and announcing that they came in through the different door. They say it proudly, and he rewards them for it. He's training his people and almost turning it into a game. They are braced for change. The more you can prepare your customer base, the more they will feel informed and ready for how to cope with the changes you've made. So hopefully this gives you some ideas on how to approach it when your business changes hands. If you're dealing with this type of change in your business, I'd love to hear more from you about what you're dealing with and how it's impacting you. Good luck with this, and happy marketing.